This is how it all started, by accident. I was heading down to Massachusetts to pick up a different bike, an SS180, this one right here, which was actually found in a junkyard full of other scooters. And it was in really, really bad shape, but I decided to pick it up. And the guy told me, I know a guy in Boston, it's not that far away, he's got a Rally180, so here we are. He didn't want it because it was in very bad shape and had a lot of Bondo on it. Quick trip back home, and there it sits, back at my house. I was pretty happy because it was a Rally180, but it wasn't in great shape, so it needed a lot of work. First things first, can we actually get it running? We do the usual. We sand down the points, we check the points, we check for spark, change the whole fuel line, make sure the gas tank is clean. In this case, I'm just pouring some gas straight into the cylinder. And it had good spark, so time to kick it over. It started right up, and all of the lights worked and the horn worked. So I was pretty happy. And then I noticed this. Underneath all that flaky black spray paint, there was another color. So I decided to start scraping off spray paint. And as happy as I was about all the lights working, I was even happier about that color, because it wasn't Rally180 orange. It was a color I hadn't seen before, and I had to look it up. It reminded me of butterscotch at first, but eventually I found out it was a pretty rare color. It's called Positano yellow, and it's really nice. It's like a deep ochre with a bit more yellow in it. So I got to work and did a lot of scraping on this bike. And in case you didn't know, this is Positano. As if I didn't need any other reasons to love this bike. So, scrape away I did, and I found some things that weren't nice, but some things turned out really well. The headset polished up real nice, as did the gas tank, and the taillight. But the front end had been in an accident for sure. There was an inch of Bondo on the front feather, and the horn was all caved in, and the leg shield had been dented and unbent. But despite all the damage, it drove just about as straight as an arrow, and I was kind of in love with it right from day one. So I decided that at this point, this was a pretty special bike to me, and I was going to fix everything. So the horn, that had to come off. Drilled out all the spot welds, removed the horn altogether, ordered a new piece of sheet metal, fit perfectly, and welded it and painted it. And I had to paint the cowls and the front fender to try and match the rest of the bike. And my first attempts at matching the color were not what I would call successful. I mean, they were yellow, but they were not Positano yellow. And eventually I found a color from Fiat that was actually really close. And she turned out pretty good once I scraped everything and painted it. Drove it for a whole summer. Here's my friend Chris on it. But then the original engine blew, and I guess I shouldn't have been surprised because that engine was really old and tired. And that's kind of what started this whole process. The axle was broken, the head was leaky, but I was going to Hamilton to buy this bike, and it came with a couple of bins, and in one of those bins was a Rally180 engine, almost complete. So I decided to rebuild it and put it in my Rally. The exhaust swing arm was broken, A couple of the screw holes for the fan shroud were broken, but these were all things that could be fixed. So I found a guy that could TIG weld, and sure enough, he was able to fix those eye holes no problem, and the spot where the exhaust goes. So then it was time to clean up the cases and get started, which you've seen in my other videos. Right now, the motor is all rebuilt and it's in the frame. This was the original exhaust. I am not kidding. I drove this for 2 whole summers. There's the new exhaust. And that new exhaust is going to get a nice coat of ceramic paint to protect it. This paint is great because you can be really sloppy with it, and it doesn't drip at all. It goes on very thick, and you can just take a heating gun and dry it right away, and it goes flat right away. It's very forgiving to work. That should keep the rust off the exhaust, at least for a couple of seasons anyway. So as you've seen in the previous videos, I started this process a couple of months ago. Actually, I started it right around Christmas, and pretty happy we've gotten it together so quickly, and the major problems got dealt with. And it's been an unusual winter. I've been off from work, and there's been lots of stuff going on. So it was nice to throw myself right into this. And here you can see we're almost done. It didn't take long to dry this up. This video is obviously sped up, but I think it took me about 15 minutes to get this exhaust painted and get the paint dried. That's actually not smoke you're seeing in this video. That's actually my breath, because it was, again, really cold. And this is how I felt about this winter, specifically Christmas, when I decided to start this whole process and rebuild this engine. This is from Christmas of this year. Ah, well, Merry Christmas. Now, spring is right around the corner, and that means it's riding season. And if you're like me, you're pretty excited right now. I don't know how many people watching this live in a cold country, but we get about 5 good months of riding. So winter is the time to rebuild the engines, and summer is the time to build the memories. And I know I'm going to be out this summer on my beautiful Rally180 that nobody wanted, and hopefully that new engine will take me to some new places to take some cool photos. And hopefully I'll be seeing some of you guys out this summer, my Canadian friends especially. Hopefully a couple of American friends as well. Anyway, that's the story of my unwanted Rally180, and I'll be posting some videos soon when I get it running. Cheers.